So what I'm going to make is a simple fish curry, something that everybody should know how to make at home. And of course, this will transfer brilliantly into chicken, pork, and vegetables. Now, this is a South Indian style, and it's not going to be an absolute genuine traditional curry. This is a Gary version of a South Indian curry. So we're going to cover 3 very important techniques. The first of which is about tempering spices, creating a balance of sweetness, acidity, sourness, spice, and of course salt, and making a simple flatbread. So the first step is going to be slicing and caramelizing onions. It's a one-pot wonder, and it's a quick one. It takes 20 to 30 minutes, really, in total cooking time, and that's why I love it. So we just slice the onions nice and finely. And then, George, what I might get you to do is make a paste with fresh ginger and some fresh turmeric. And then also, if we break this garlic, just peel very lightly. You can leave some of the skin on, and that's a whole head of garlic. So there's going to be about 6 to 8 cloves in there, depending on how big the garlic is.
Leave it to me.
This is tamarind, and tamarind is like a fibrous pod that hangs off a tree. It's got big seeds in it, and this is crucial in creating that sourness that you get in a lot of South Indian dishes. So we'll pop that tamarind pulp into the warm water, and then we'll end up with a tamarind water that we can use in the curry a little later. That'll give it some sourness.
If you couldn't get the tamarind pod, could you just use a small amount of tamarind paste? Or...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The first building block of this curry is going to be the caramelised onions, but what's also important is about tempering these whole spices. So I've got some peanut oil. I'm going to pour that into a hot pan. We've got about 1/3 of a cup there. And then I'm going to start adding these spices, about a tablespoon of green cardamom pods. And I love the fact that I put these in whole because you get that delicious sort of sweetness from them. It's about 5 or 6 chilies. What we're going to do is temper those in the oil. Just blister them a little bit rather than reconstitute them. And then the flavour will leach out as the curry cooks. About 3 sticks of cinnamon. I've got about a tablespoon of whole cloves, about a tablespoon of roughly chopped mace. Everybody know what mace is? It's the husk of nutmeg. And it's very distinctive. There's nutmeg characteristics of that, but it's a lot milder as well. And about a tablespoon of fennel seeds. That's very typical of South Indian cuisine. And of course, that gives you that aniseed type flavour. We're looking for a blistering of the chilies. We're toasting those spices, tempering them, and releasing the flavour. And that smells
amazing.
Absolutely gorgeous, right? So now we're going to chuck in our onions. There's 3 of those, which are finely sliced. The spice in curry is not about chili. It's not about heat, all right? There's lots of complexity in there. Now, what I want to make sure is that I've got plenty of oil for those onions to stew down in, OK? So stew first and then start introducing some colour. And that's pretty crucial because the colour's going to give you sweetness, that caramelisation, so that's going to give you flavour. So they're going to take about 6 to 8 minutes to really start doing their thing. So we'll leave those, let them stew, and then, George, you're going to blend that ginger, garlic and turmeric paste?
Yep. We've got a whole head of garlic that we've peeled. We've kept a little bit of the peel on there for that fibre. We've got the young ginger that we've peeled and the turmeric. 1/3 of a cup of water, and that goes into the blender. Lid goes on. You want it smooth?
As you can, yeah.
Looks beautiful, so fresh.
It smells beautiful too. What I love about making a ginger garlic paste, you make ginger garlic paste with oil if you want, and then you can store it, you know, in the fridge. And I think it adds that lovely freshness. You get that kick and the heat from the ginger, and of course that dusky flavour from the turmeric.
If you can't find fresh turmeric, can you add powdered turmeric?
It's fine. And you'd add dried turmeric with the rest of the dry spices, not at that whole stage at the beginning. So as you can see, the onions are really starting to get nice and jammy and caramelised now. So those spices have well and truly toasted, releasing their aroma. We're getting different smells off this completely, which is lovely. Really, really delicious, making me salivate. So we've got a couple of dry spices that we're going to pop in. Got cumin and coriander. Now you can toast and grind these yourself in a pestle and mortar or a spice grinder. But as long as you're keeping spices fresh in your cupboards, and once you open them, you use them fairly quickly, so buy them in small packets, they should be still good. And if they smell beautiful and vibrant, then they're still good. But if they smell like sawdust, believe me, they'll taste like sawdust. So first in, a tablespoon of coriander. Next in, a tablespoon of cumin. And then I'm going to put in 1/4 of a teaspoon of the chilli powder. Even though I've got whole chilies in this already, this is just going to give it a slightly different flavour. It's a slightly hot chilli powder. So I put in a teaspoon of chili powder, just a little bit extra for George. Now we're just going to cook out those fresh ground spices just for a minute, just so that they release their flavour and get that toasty characteristic. The reason it's important to cook those ground spices is so they're not grainy in the sauce and undercooked. Now in with this paste, which is the ginger, garlic and turmeric paste. And I'm going to put quite a lot of this in because I love those flavours. I love garlic, I love ginger, and I love turmeric, especially fresh turmeric. That smells incredible. Doesn't that smell beautiful? And using these fresh ingredients gives this curry an entirely different level of flavour than, say, using dry ginger. So we just need to cook that ginger, garlic and turmeric paste out just for a minute or so. We still want to keep those fresh, vibrant characteristics in the curry. And then we need to strain that tamarind pulp.
Wow, it's gotten thick, hasn't it? It's amazing.
All that needs is about 15 minutes in hot water. And then basically what it is, that little sort of resin of, you know, fibrous pulp and seed dissolves into the water, gives you that sourness. So if you dip your finger in, it's really quite sour, as in, you know, eye-wincing kind of sour. We have to make sure that all the seeds and the fibrous bits and pieces stay in the sieve and that we scrape all of that lovely sour pulp away from that fibrous debris. Anybody not tasted tamarind water before? Shannon, you want to come and dip your finger in?
Sure.
It won't knock your socks off.
That's sour.
It's sour, isn't it?
For something that's come from this kind of woody pot, it's quite fresh.
Yeah. It's really fresh, isn't
Yeah.
it? And it's got this lovely sort of background notes, almost, I reckon, caramelly and earthy. It's nice.
Yeah.
Love that stuff.
And it really lingers.
Nice sourness?
Yeah.
OK, good stuff. So we've got our tamarind water. It's been strained. I'm going to put in a couple of tablespoonsful of palm sugar. And you can use straight white sugar. It's OK. It's just to sweeten it up. Because remember, we're after those spicy characteristics, want some sourness, want some sweetness, want some heat. So this is the flavour we're trying to build. So just allow that to melt a little and just start to caramelise a little bit. Now we're going to add some sourness. So I'm going to put in about half a cup of this tamarind water. It's good. It's really good. Now some chicken stock. We've got about 250 mils or a cup of chicken stock. And then a few of these curry leaves. So I'm just going to pull these off the branch. So I've put in about 20 curry leaves. Final little touch, pinch of salt. Now we'll check that again when we've actually cooked the curry, when the fish is cooked in there, just to see if the seasoning's right. And then I'm just going to bring that up to a gentle simmer and just allow all those flavours to come together, and then we'll get ready to finish it off. So the spices are getting to know themselves in here. Only thing left to do is to finish it off with the fish. So before we do that, we're going to make a simple flatbread. Now, this is going to use a whole meal flour, an Indian flour, that is a little bit special, actually.
It is, isn't it? This is Jimmy's flour. He's bringing the whole wheat back to Australia and grinding it himself.
So remember Jimmy from Series 2?
I'm cooking prawn patia, which translates through to hot and sour prawns. It's like a tom yum.
That's fantastic. I'd happily just stuff the lot. So congratulations, brilliant. You talk about, you know, what's your inspiration? What are you going to do when you leave MasterChef? Of course, Jimmy's opening his restaurant, but he's also developing a number of products. Some curry spices, curry sauce, but also he's importing the hard grain from northern India and making attar, which just translates to flour. And he's actually selling that through Coles. So I think that's pretty special.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And I like the fact that it's put a smile on their face because they're going, hey, it does OK, this MasterChef thing, doesn't it? Huh?
So we've got 3 cups of the attar flour, and we don't need to sieve this, do we?
No.
OK. We've got 40 grams of melted butter, and we'll just well that in the centre. We've got 200 mils of milk, but I wouldn't add it all in at once. I'd add a little bit in, check it. If it needs more, add more.
We're also going to put in a little pinch of salt, about just a good pinch, so it's not even half a teaspoon.
And start working that with my hands, yeah? If you don't have this flour, you can use any flour that you like.
Spelt flour works really well because it's a whole grain flour. And if you use white flour, what you've got to realise is because it's highly processed, then it will absorb a lot more liquid.
We're just trying to get this into a manageable ball so we can give it a good knead, get the gluten going, and then we're going to rest the dough before we pin it out to make bread.
For something like a gluten-free option, would buckwheat flour work just as well?
Yeah, remember that buckwheat's not going to absorb a lot of liquid, all right? That's going to be the key difference. You know, I've used wheat flour, which is not traditionally southern Indian. They don't grow a lot of wheat in the south of India. They grow rice. So they use rice flour for their breads. So there's lots of different options.
Yeah.
Well, that feels really good. It's come together.
That's all you're looking for, a nice soft dough.
Yeah.
And don't forget, you can use different liquids. You can use yogurt, for example. Gives it a nice texture and flavour.
So we'll divide this into 8 now and rest it for about 15 to 20 minutes, just in the bowl. And we've cut them into manageable sizes. So once they're rested, they're nice and relaxed, we can pin them out and start grilling them.
Beautiful. So pop that aside, leave that for 20 minutes.
So this dough's been resting and you can feel it already. It feels so
Nice
beautiful.
and soft, doesn't it? It does actually change texture quite a lot because the butter seeps into the flour, the milk seeps into the flour, and it's a really important part of making bread. I'll roll that out, and then what we're going to do is we're going to pan fry these breads. So that's how easy they are to make. And we're going to pop some spice over the top. We've got some black sesame seeds, white sesame seeds, and also some fenugreek.
And that fenugreek's got a really interesting flavour, hasn't it?
It's a bit more earthy than, say, fennel seed.
Yeah.
It's sort of almost slightly curry-ish, a little bit of fennel flavour. It's nice, but it does have a bitterness to it, so you've got to be careful how much you use.
Why do you think they called it fenugreek?
I think somebody came up with the idea. It's probably Greek, actually. Yeah, and as Greeks invented everything from Christmas to war, politics.
All right, so we'll just give this a little smash in the mortar and pestle to release that flavour. So that's the fenugreek in there. A little tip for people at home and yourselves, to clean your mortar and pestle out, you fill it with salt. Okay, leave it overnight and it leaches out all the impurities, especially when you've been using lots of different spices in there. Tip the salt out, give it a wash, give it a rinse, dry it, start again.
We've got these sesame seeds. Yep. Black and white sesame seeds. Just going to put a few on.
Same with the fenugreek?
Yeah, a little bit of the fenugreek, not too much, because it does tend to be a bit bitter. Touch of salt. And then all we've got to do is just roll that in so they just stick into the bread. And then all we've got to do is fry them, George.
Yum. So a little splash of peanut oil. Okay, so let's put this in. So seed side down, so it toasts those seeds and spices. Whatever I'm cooking, whatever I put face down into the pan is going to be the side that I'm going to present, because it's going into the pan at its cleanest possible state, so it's going to keep that presentation side clean. You can see that starting to bubble up, and I can see it's nice and golden brown, so I'm just going to flip that over. That looks beautiful, doesn't it? Yeah. A bit of tzatziki, some lamb, and you've got a great suva. Yeah. So that was 2 minutes on both sides, and it's cooked, ready to go.
OK, so while George is cooking our flatbreads, we're going to finish off this curry. Now, this sauce has had plenty of time to cook out. It's been cooking now for about 15 to 20 minutes, and now we're going to add the fish, which is going to cook pretty quickly because we're going to cut it into small dice. Now, I need a volunteer to come up and help just clean these mussels. Who's going to be volunteering? Sun, would you like to come up and help clean the mussels?
Yep.
So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the beard. So we're just going to tease that out, all right? Otherwise, that's going to end up in your curry. Yeah. And obviously, what that little beard is how the mussel attaches itself to a rock or something, you know, like a pier pylon. And then the next thing we're going to do is just pop over to the sink. And then a little bit of wire wool. And then what I do is just scrub all those little bits of debris off the shell, because we don't want that in our sauce, which is quite important. All right? So just nice and clean like that. So we go from that to a nice clean mussel. So clean ones, dirty ones, off you go.
My go.
I love the fact that we managed to get somebody else to do the hard work for us. It's just like real life, really, isn't it?
You don't really
in the restaurants, just get somebody else to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Thinking I got the
She's
glamorous
not very
job.
fast, though, is she?
Can't, Sun, let's go. Hurry up. Chop, chop.
Have you cleaned mussels before?
No.
No, you never have?
No,
Oh,
which
that's
is why I'm a
interesting.
bit excited about. Where's the...
That's interesting. OK, Sun, you done?
Looks like it.
Yeah, good stuff. Thank you. So Sun's cleaned our beautiful mussels, ready to go. And then what we've got is this gorgeous piece of blue-eye trevally. You can use any fish, but the reason I like this is because it's really meaty, it's really dense. And what we're going to do is just cut some nice big chunks. Now, if you were to use chicken, for example, in this curry, then I would brown it before I cook the onions, take that out, and then make the sauce and then put it all back in. If you're using vegetables like pumpkin or potatoes or okra, then throw that in at this stage and cook it. So I've cut our nice pieces of fish into chunks, and then we're just going to pop that in the sauce, and then we're going to put a lid on and let it steam and stew in that gorgeous sauce. I'm going to flip the fish over so it's covered in the sauce, spoon it over the top, because I want all those flavours to go in. So gentle simmer, and then we're going to pop a lid on. And that's going to take about 3 minutes or so before I then put the mussels in. So total cooking time is going to be about 7 minutes with the fish and the mussels.
So realistically, you could have that sauce made in
the
a fridge, and
yeah,
as you need it,
it's a
take
good
it
base,
out.
Yeah, it's a good base that you can make chicken curry from, and I think it'll freeze okay. It'll freeze well. So this fish has been cooking for about 3 minutes, so it's just starting to cook through. Now remember, it's quite meaty, so it will take a little bit of time. And then we're just going to pop our mussels in, all right? Now I'm going to serve this curry in the pot. That's why I'm being sort of a bit pedantic about popping these in. It's all about the one pot wonder with me, because I hate washing up. And then we're going to give that another 3 to 4 minutes until those mussels start to pop open under the steam. OK, so 3 minutes is up, mussels have cooked, and all of those beautiful little flavours have gone through the curry. All we've got to do now is a couple of little finishing touches. So I've got some lime for some more acidity, and we're going to put plenty of it in, because for me, this just adds that beautiful freshness.
Yeah.
So lime, and then we've got some more curry leaves, which I'm just going to pop in just for a bit of freshness at the end. Bit of chopped coriander, and then a touch of coconut cream. There's about
Looks wonderful.
half a cup in there, all right? And I'm not going to stir that all the way through. I'm just going to let that seep through. And then last little bit, I fried some onions, OK? So just those onions that we had before, I've just deep fried those so they're crispy. You can buy deep fried shallots in an Asian grocer, same as deep fried nib garlic, things like that just add nice texture and flavour. So I'm just going to pop a few of those onions on.
Oh.
And of course, they'll give that nice sweet flavour, all right? A few coriander leaves, and I'm done. So there we have it, my simple fish curry.
Delicious.
Yum. So who wants to taste?
Oh, way quicker.
Ooh, everyone. That's
Like
a
it.
first.
Hayden, Sun,
Yes.
and Matt. Come on, let's dig in.
Sweet.
Oh, you've done this before, haven't you, Hayden?
Sure have. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The tamarind in that is amazing.
It's going everywhere, but...
I don't care.
No.
No.
I think the tamarind and the lime actually makes it a lot fresher.
It's really clean tasting. Like, it's just really fresh when you get it. It's just vibrant and zingy.
It's got that sweetness and the acidity and the jamminess from the onions when you really
Yeah.
caramelise those down at the start. It's just shining through as well with the freshness, so...
Good stuff, so you
I
like
love
it?
Yeah.
I love it.
Taste the lime, taste the tamarind, taste the fish, those caramelised onions, and then, of course, those individual spices, you know, the cumin, you know, the coriander. Look, he's sweating, look.
Poor fella.
Wow.
It's actually not that hot.
It's not.
Like, it's not hot. If you don't want the chilies in, take them out. You'll still get the complexity of spice.
So I wouldn't change that. I'd just sit there, enjoy all that, but
And
have
sweat.
lots of towels around me.
I love that. I think we better leave George just to carry on eating.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you. Beautiful.
How are those mussels, Hayden?
They're really good.
Can I lick your fingers?
No.
My top tips for a great curry. First of all, think about tempering the whole spices. That tempering, that releasing the flavour, the fragrance in hot oil is really important and adds a lovely dimension to a finished dish. Number 2, experiment with spices. It's not all about chili, it's not all about heat. There are thousands to choose from. And number 3, flatbread. Maybe try Jimmy's whole wheat flour, the attar. It's beautiful stuff, but you can use spelt, you can use wholemeal, you can use white flours. Choice is yours, but you will get a different result from each one. So I think the lesson here is to experiment with flavour, with acidity, with sweetness, and remember, one curry does not fit all.